right. Welcome in. I'm assuming if you're here, you want to learn how to read the tarot cards, okay? If not, I don't know how you got here. So I'm going to be using it's the Vita Sarah tarot deck. Doesn't have the name on here, but it has it on here. I got it on Amazon. Actually, my mom got it on Amazon. I'm borrowing it because it has all the cards and the meanings, and it's just going to be easier for me to reference the textbook definition of these cards as I'm going through them. But I will also be giving, my interpretation of the cards. Did I just see an orb fly on camera there as I'm talking? It's either an orb or it's cat hair. You can never tell in this household. Okay. Before we get into the nitty-gritties and going through the deck, I'm making this first part just to talk about spiritual hygiene, to talk about practicing divination safely, because if I'm going to teach you, we're going to do it the right way, okay? We're not going willy-nilly and just jumping in and hoping for the best. So, that being said, any work of divination, any spiritual work that you get into, highly recommended that you're grounding yourself, that you're meditating, and that you are most importantly, calling on and asking for protection. I work with divine light energy. Y'all, I swear to God, we've got orbs flying around. What is going on? What is going on? We've got a lot of activity in this room. That's crazy. Okay, whatever. Divine energy, I believe in Yeshua, so I'm calling on Yeshua, I'm calling on the Holy Spirit, I'm calling on God, because that's like the trifecta for me. I'm calling on my spiritual team, anyone to be protecting my cards, protecting my energy, helping me to channel messages only from the most divine source. This is important because if you're working with negative energies, you're not going to get happy messages coming through the cards. Not to say that you're not going to get some more harsh messages coming from the divine as well, but at least you know that those energies are going to be leading you in a better direction. They're going to be offering you assistance, whereas negative energies are oftentimes going to lead you down a bad path, not give you the advice that you actually need, things of that sort. So please, 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 if you take anything away from this video, ask for protection and ground yourself when you are working with divination of any kind. So, moving on to grounding techniques, because grounding is very important when we're doing spiritual work, because we're going to be working with our third eye and our crown chakra, these two, when we're channeling messages. So it's very important to balance all of our chakras so that we're not just like floating away into la la land, okay? So the root chakra is going to be very important. You can do visualization techniques. There's one that I read in a spell book where you picture the light from the center of the earth, and you inhale and picture the light going up through from the core of the earth through your core and then out. And then when you exhale, you're picturing a bright white light, like a bubble that's surrounding you. So visualization techniques like that are great. To just focus on for a few deep breaths, get you centered, whatever it takes for you. Some people need more, some people don't. You'll figure it out, okay? It's trial and error. I also recommend working with crystals. So these are the two that I default to when I need grounding. I've got black jasper and I've got black tourmaline. If I'm looking for some psychic protection, I have my tiger's eye. This is good for your solar plexus. I have lapis lazuli, which is great for third eye, and I have amethyst, which is really good for your crown chakra. This, I'll have to get it on video at some point. This one has been around for so long that there are little black dots inside of it from all the negative energy that it's captured over the years. I've had this for well over a decade now, and it shows. Okay, so grounding, I have my cheat sheet here for everything I want to go over. We have grounding, we have centering. In between readings, like if you're just reading for yourself, typically you don't need to be grounding and cleansing in between because you're dealing with your own energy. So it's not like you're not handling too much that you need to be cleansing and recentering, right? That being said, if you're feeling lightheaded, if you're feeling drained, that's when you really need to check in with yourself. Like, keep an eye on your energy levels while you're going through this. to know, you know, what your limit is. I read for the collective. I do personal readings independently, privately, and on live. So I'm constantly in between readings. If you find me on TikTok, I'm constantly just putting everything aside from one reading to the next. And I'm doing my little grounding mudra. This mudra is really good for grounding. This mudra is really good for receiving information from your crown chakra and above. But I will ground in between readings. You can ring a bell, you can light some sage, you can light some Palo Santo, incense. Any kind of smoke really is good for cleansing and clearing energies. I like to spray rose water as well to just get an extra spritz of some self-love, some love and protection in here. So yes, definitely make it a habit to ground yourself in between readings. I can't tell you how many readers I've seen in person in particular that just do readings back to back to back, and you can tell that they're not grounded because they've got chaotic energy, they've got chaos surrounding them in their personal lives. You can just tell by their mannerisms, but they're pretty scattered. So make sure that you are keeping your energy in check. That is so important. And again, just the main takeaway for this video is how to do this stuff safely. So moving on, when you're using the cards, I like to use selenite in between readings. I place it on top of my deck to cleanse the deck in between readings. You can sage your cards. You can do, honestly, there's so many different techniques for cleansing your cards. Do whatever works best. Sometimes if the cards are a little quiet, you'll see me go like this and knock on it. Just send some energy, moves things around, knocks the energy about. Let's see, what else? Things like setting the atmosphere, lighting a candle, getting that extra element in there for you to work with. Water is really good to have on standby, I should say. Good for absorbing energy. I have a little thing of salt as well on my altar here to, you know, capture some negative energies. So again, trial and error, whatever resonates with you, you do you. Okay. So some of you are going to find that it's easier to read cards for other people than it is to read for yourself. This is because oftentimes we're too close and we just kind of project what we're thinking onto the cards, and then it just gets muddled and we can't differentiate. So I'm just going to put that out there. And then I think the last thing I want to mention in this video is this is an oracle deck. This is a tarot deck, okay? There's like 40 some cards. I made this one myself. Oracle decks, the difference, for those of you who don't know, which is why I'm saying this, oracle decks don't have a set amount of cards, nor do they have specific meanings they follow. It's purely for, you know, whoever decided to create the oracle deck had free reign. So usually it's like 40, 50 cards in an oracle deck. Sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's more. Different meanings. Again, we've got different cards. I created these because I wanted to use something that I'm familiar with my cards. So they do kind of correlate with the tarot directly. Tarot decks, 78 cards in the deck, they're always going to be the same meanings, they're always going to be the same cards. The images are going to change, so that's another thing to keep in mind when you're picking a deck, whatever's resonating with you. For me, it's the Rider-Waite, the traditional Rider-Waite. I have so many different flavors of the Rider-Waite tarot. It's been my OG, this is my OG deck. OG since day one, Rider-Waite. I love them, I love the images. They really convey all the meanings of the cards really well. But, you know, we have other decks as well with other artwork. Obviously, Three of Cups in this deck is going to look very different from Three of Cups in another deck. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking. You get different meanings out of the cards as you go. For me, it seemed like it was the easiest to learn the textbook definition first and then go off of intuition. And once I started diving into intuition, I could use other decks and just really key into the artwork more and get more messages that way. So I think that's about it that I'm going to cover in this video, and then we're going to go into major arcana and then all the minor arcana. So this is just a little warm up. So buckle up, and I will see you in the next one.